Hi everyone, how are you? In today's video, we are going to learn how to do the high-end skin retouching in Adobe Photoshop. So basically, we are going to learn how to smooth out the skin in Photoshop, and this is basically helpful for those who wants to retouch their fashion portraits or the portraits or want to have that high-end skin retouching. So basically, we'll be using the frequency separation technique for this purpose. All right, I hope you can hear me, my sound. And if you want me to see live, you can just log on to YouTube on my channel Harshvardhan Art. All right, so I'm live there as well. So if you want to check out there, go ahead and just join me over there as well if you want. All right, because there you will see the horizontal screen, the full screen, and here it's only the vertical screen, so you might not be able to see clearly, only half of the picture or the screen you will see. All right, so let's start. So basically we are going to take this image. This image is by Jaspreet, and Jaspreet is from Ratan Studio, New Delhi, India. So he has sent me this image to retouch. Alright, so just a minute, let me just check whether my live stream is going perfect on YouTube as well. Okay, I hope everyone can just hear me. If you are watching me and you can hear me, just leave yes in the comments. So that we can carry on, and we'll wait for a moment, let the people join us, and we'll start working on this image. Let me show you. So this is the image on which we are going to work. Alright, so we'll be learning how to retouch the skin. Hello Piyush. So we'll start working on this one. So I hope on Instagram you can see it. Let me just move my phone little bit this way so that you can see what's going on. Okay, so this image is by Jaspreet. Let me just check whether. All right, so we'll start. So I have launched this image. This is a raw image and it has been captured in the Canon EOS R, and this is the .cr3 file, which is a raw extension for the Canon cameras. And if you're using the Nikon cameras, then it's the .nef is the raw file. So if you are a professional and you want to just have the professional result, always shoot in the raw format, because the raw format contains lots of information which is very helpful in the post processing. So a raw format is basically like a digital negative which contains lots of information, but if you are shooting in the JPEG format actually is a compressed format which is a very tiny file. And in the JPEG image, what camera does, it just captures the raw file first, and then it processes itself and then gives you a smaller output. So it basically just removes some of the information which camera itself thinks that these are not that necessary, but that may be necessary in case you are doing the post processing. Suppose there is lots of highlight in the skin, or there is a no detail in the shadows, and if you want to recover the details in the shadows and in the highlights, in that case you can do that only with the raw image but not with the JPEG image. So that's why it's very important that you always shoot within the raw format. Raw format uh, images are little heavier in size or little larger in size, but they contain lots of information, so it's always good to have. If you want, you can just shoot in the raw plus one JPEG format. So because there are certain photographers who want to instantly share their images with the clients, because some clients they insist that please send me at least unedited pictures, but I never do this because I always shoot in the raw format, and I don't send the image to anyone, whether it is my friend or someone else, because I want to first do the editing and then only I send the images. Alright, so it's always good if you want to have the option of raw plus JPEG, because all the DSLR cameras do have this option where you can select the one raw format file plus one JPEG file, so you will have both and you can take the advantage of both the files. Alright, so we'll just start retouching this image. I think I should start retouching this. If you are hearing me and my voice is, you can hear me perfectly, leave something in the comment yes, so that we can start. Alright, so this is the raw image. So I have just opened it and this has been launched in the camera raw. You can retouch this in the Lightroom, but the advanced frequency separation or the high-end skin retouching will not be possible in the Lightroom, because Lightroom is basically for the smaller adjustments etc., where you can just fix the highlights, exposure, shadows and colors and all that, but not for the high-end skin retouching like we are going to do this in this image. So let me just zoom in, let's say 100%. So you can see this image is short, already have lots of detail. So let me show you 50%. Alright, but there are some blotchiness, some scars, some dots on the face, so we are going to clean this up. Alright, so let's start. Let me just fit in view. So first of all, what I do, I just go for this auto option which is over here. I hope you can see this. This is the auto option. So what I do, just a minute, let me just focus it if I can focus it. Alright, so we can just press the auto, and what it does, it basically just try to fix everything like exposure and everything, something like that. So thereafter we need to just work on this. So let's see, let's bring down the exposure a little bit. Okay, and let's bring down the highlight to something like this, and we can increase the whites a little bit and blacks. So if you want to have more control, you can press Alt or Option, and in that case you will get to see this kind of a colors. So if different colors are started to appear, that means you are clipping the details over there, or you are losing out the details. So you don't have to go that far, because in that case, in those areas you will not have details. Alright, but this is not that necessary, but I'll go for something like this. Alright, and similarly you can do this for the white, and wherever you see this red dots, you are losing out the details in the highlights. Alright, so otherwise you can just leave it as it is, and you can go for with your eyes only. And then we have the option of texture and clarity, and we are not going to touch this because we are going to do the skin smoothing in the Photoshop, so we'll not touch anything of this. And if you want, you can increase the vibrance a little bit, but not that much, because that would make the skin tone weird. And then I will go in the lens correction option, and lens correction option is very useful to remove the chromatic aberration and the profile correction. So if there is a lens distortion, that would be fixed. So first I'll check the remove chromatic aberration and then enable profile correction, and you can see the moment I did this, what it did, it has already selected the make, which is over here Canon. Automatically the lens with which it was shot with 24 to 70 f 2.8 lens, and this is the profile which was selected in the camera, and it has fixed the distortion. If I uncheck this, you can see there is a vignette and there is a distortion. So what it does, it just basically fix that distortion. All right, and then we'll go to the details panel, which is over here. This is the details panel, and we'll do sharpening. So for that purpose, what I do, I press Alt or Option and select on this masking slider, and while holding Alt or Option, I drag it to something like this until I see only the edges. So white edges should appear. So that means you are just sharpening the edges, not the entire image. But if I just go for this way, that shows the white everywhere. So white means the sharpening is applied or is being applied everywhere, not to the edges. So what it would do, it would start giving you grains and noise, start introducing noise in your image, which you don't want. So always press Alt and drag this masking slider to something like this where you see only the edges, because if you sharpen that way, you will have more control over the sharpening. So we can just zoom in to see what it does. So if we drag it down, you can see, I hope you can notice it if you are watching in full HD, and we can increase the sharpening to something like this. And similarly, we have the luminance option. So luminance is basically noise reduction option. So if we'll increase it, you can see the noise or the grains start to disappear. So if you'll see just over here on this side, if I drag this luminance back, there are some grains and noise. But if I just increase it, you are going to see that you must see that this has taken away that grain or the noise. All right, but it has also smoothed out the skin as well. So if you'll see, if I drag it back and drag it up, it's going to just soften the skin tone as well, or skin as well. All right, so now what we'll do, we'll just fit this in view, and now we can see our result till today. This is basic adjustment we are doing. So we can press P on our keyboard to see. All right, and now I'm going to add little bit of vignette to this. So we'll go to the FX panel and add little bit vignette effect to something like this, and thereafter we'll select the open image, and that's going to open the image in Adobe Photoshop. Hello, can you hear my sound? I hope. Actually, I'm getting message that my voice is not audible. So let me just fix it. I hope people can hear me. Because I am just doing the live stream on YouTube as well. Alright, I hope if you can hear me, just leave yes in the comments so that we can carry on and start retouching this image in. Okay, so I hope I am audible to everyone. All right, so now this is the Photoshop, and we have launched the Photoshop we have done the basic editing to this image. We have fixed the exposure, lighting, etc. a little bit, and now we are going to do the high-end skin retouching or skin smoothing in Photoshop. So first of all, we need to create two duplicate copies of it. So we'll press Ctrl J, Command J if you are using Mac, and Ctrl J, Command J once again, and then we'll just rename it, the bottom one, as low by just double clicking it, and this one, top one, by double clicking on the name, and we can name it high. Alright, and we'll turn off the high for a moment and select the low layer, and thereafter we'll go to the filter, blur, and we'll choose the Gaussian blur, and we'll choose the radius where we don't see the finer details in this skin. So something like this is just fine because we don't have to see the finer details. Alright, so now this one is fine for this, and it differs from image to image. So thereafter we'll press the OK button, and now you can see this one has become blurry, and now we'll turn off this and turn on the high skin on sorry, and then we'll go to the section, image, and apply image, and over here on the layers panel we'll select the low, and blending mode we'll select the subtract. Alright, and we need to put this scale as 2 and offset as 128. So basically what we are telling the Photoshop, that take the values of low layer, which is this one, which we have made blurry, and then subtract that value from this image. So this was blur and this is normal. So if we just subtract the blur amount from this image, what would be left? Only the finer details, or the details would be left. So we are telling the Photoshop to do this, and this is a fixed number which will be used on each and every image if it is 8-bit, and thereafter we need to press OK, and you will get this kind of a effect. And thereafter you need to change the layer blend mode from the normal to linear light, and the moment you will do this, you will see that now this one is similar to the our starting image. So this is our starting image, and this one, there is no difference as of now. So we'll select both these layers and press Ctrl G to group them together, and we'll call it skin. Alright, and let me quickly save it so that I don't lose my work. And this beautiful image by Jaspreet, Ratan Studio, New Delhi, India, he has sent me this image, and if you want me to edit your image, you can just send me that as well, and you can direct message me, or you can just mail me at harsh@harshvardhanart.com, and I will try to include that in my next tutorial. And if you want to see this in full screen, if you're watching me on Instagram, you can join me on YouTube. My channel name is Harshvardhanart, and there you will see the full screen, because the Instagram screen is limited, live streaming is limited, only the half portion you can see. Alright, so now we'll just open this folder by clicking this arrow and select the low layer, and then we'll press we'll create a duplicate copy of it by pressing Ctrl J or Command J to have a duplicate copy of it. And you can see we have got a new duplicate copy, and we'll turn this low layer off by clicking on the eye icon, and now we'll select the mixer brush. Alright, so mixer brush is here. So if you'll just click and hold your mouse, you will see this mixer brush over here on the bottom, or you can simply press Shift B number of times and you will get this brush you can select that brush. Alright, just a minute. Oops. Alright, and then let's see the settings. So let me just select it. It's actually I'm live streaming, so that's why my system is little slow. I think I will pause. Okay. Alright, so mixer, this is the mixer brush, this is on the bottom, and this setting is very important. Just take a look at this setting. Here you need to select, click on this little icon and select clean brush. Alright, and then you need to click on the second brush icon, so it's going to disable the brush. And then in the wet you need to put 30%, in the load you need to put 30%, and mix 20%, and flow 20%, and leave this as it is to the default, and make sure sample all layers is unchecked. It's very important. Alright, and once we have done this, we need to select this low layer. We'll select this low layer. Let me check my live stream is going perfect or not. Alright, so and now we'll start painting on the skin to smooth that out. So all paint, and I'm using the pen tablet. You can just do this with the mouse itself, but if you'll use the pen tablet, graphic pen tablet, that would help you out. Okay, and you just need to paint over the area which you want to make smoother, and sometimes you have to paint number of times over the area. Okay, and while we are doing this, you may not see the result. You will feel that nothing is happening, but in fact it's smoothing out the skin, and it's going to give us the professional result, because we are maintaining the skin texture plus we are smoothing out the skin. So that's what the professional skin retouching is. It takes a little bit time, but if you'll spend that time, it's going to be you'll get a better result. Mind my grammar, because English is not my first language, it's my third language, but I'm trying to speak English perfectly. So just keep on painting over the area which you want to smooth out, and if you want, you can zoom in by pressing Ctrl and space, and with your mouse or graphic pen you can just zoom in. And same, you can zoom out as well by pressing Ctrl and space, and then with your mouse. And if you just turn this off, you will see the difference. We are not done yet. Alright, it has already smoothed out the skin. So let me just paint on the other areas, on other body parts. So you can increase the size of the brush by pressing left bracket or the right bracket. Left bracket would decrease the size, and right bracket, right open bracket, some people call it open bracket, to increase the size. Right will increase and left will decrease it. Okay, and on the hands as well. And if anyone is interested in learning an online session, private session online via Google Hangout, you can contact me. I can teach you the skin retouching or color grading or anything you like in Photoshop, photo manipulation, or any kind of a photo editing. If you're interested, then you can just contact me. Alright, and over here as well, and there are stretch marks. We are going to fix those stretch mark as well. So let me zoom in. Sorry, please avoid the noise. Something is happening in house. So let's see the difference by turning this on and off. You can see earlier the skin was like this, and now after smoothing out the skin, the result looks like this, and we have not lost any details. All the details are intact. Right, so this technique is very easy and very useful. Anyone can do this. And now we'll work on the high layer, and with the high layer what we are going to do, we are going to fix those spots or dark circles or something like this. So for that purpose we will go and select this spot healing brush tool, and make sure these settings that you check the content aware and uncheck the sample or layers. It's very important, otherwise it will not work. Okay, so now we'll just paint over the problematic areas or the scar, spots, or whatever it is. Just paint over that, and it's going to take care of that. And in between, make sure you save your work, because that's very important, because Photoshop may crash at any time. So edit, purge, and purge all. I'm going to free up some of my RAM so that I can work efficiently, because I'm live streaming on the YouTube and on Instagram. So you just have to just paint. Some people use the other tool where you have to take the sample from the nearby areas, but the spot healing brush tool itself takes the sample from the nearby areas. So this one is very fast and easy to work with, rather than taking sample every time you want to remove any spot or any problematic area. And we can remove these highlights as well, which is too much. And on the dark circle as well, we can just remove those dark lines. on this area. So this process takes lots of time. The more time you will spend, the more better result you will get. The better result you will get. I hope I make sense. On this area, on the chin. And you can see by turning this on and off how far we have come. Okay, so let me just remove certain other spots. And let's work on those stretch mark on the belly. So basically we are painting on those stretch marks, and this tool, spot healing brush tool, is taking care of everything. I know this is little boring for some people, but yes, editing is very time consuming. So the basic rule of editing is that the more time you are going to spend on the image, the better result you will get. So you can see we have removed all those stretch marks as well. So you can see by turning this off and on, so we have removed those marks as well. Alright, and now we are going to even out the skin tone. So for that purpose, what we can do, we can create a new layer in between these two layers. So we can click on the bottom new layer icon, and now we are going to choose the soft edge brush, not this one but normal soft edge brush. And if you are using the mouse, you can go for the soft round brush, but I'm using the pen tablet or graphic pen tablet, so I'll go for the soft round pressure opacity and flow brush, so I don't have to change the opacity again and again. But if you are using the mouse, then you need to set the opacity to 5% or 10%. Alright, and then what we'll do, we'll press Alt or Option and pick a sample color from the nearby area, and then we'll slowly paint over it, so that it get the same skin tone. So we can fix certain area with the help of this one. And we need to continuously take the sample and mix those colors. Okay, So you can see by turning this on and off, it has tried to blend with the rest of the skin tone, and over here we can just paint on that area. And we can make the size of the brush larger and paint on this area. Okay, so you can see how far we have come from this to this, and now let's correct the skin tone. So we'll take the selective color adjustment layer, and let me bring down the property over here. So this is the property, and here we have all the channels. So we can have red, yellow, orange, neutral, or black. So with the help of this one we can color grade. So we'll select the red, and then we have the different slider, 1 2 3 4 sliders, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black slider. So we can just drag it to the left side or on the right side. On the right side it's going to take away the red color, but on the left side it's going to add little redness, you can see. So I'll go for something like this. I love this red skin tone because yellow is not of a healthy person, so that would look like she is ill. So I'll take the cyan to something like this, and then magenta, so we can add more redness, or we can take away the redness. So I'll go for something like this, +6 is just fine, and then yellow. So I think +6 is just fine, and we can whether make this color red darker by dragging it to the left side, or making it if we'll drag it to the left side it's going to make it lighter, and drag it to the right it's going to make it darker. So you can do this, but I'll not going to do this. I'll set it default to 0. Alright, so you can see by turning this on and off till now, it has now brought out the skin tone. Okay, and now let's change the color to the yellow. So we can again adjust this slider. So we'll bring more cyan, we'll drag it to the left side, and let's add magenta, or maybe leave it something like this, and yellow if you want something like this. This one is just fine, and let's go for the green because there is a green as well in the skin. So let's try where it's looking good, and magenta, yellow. Okay, so you can see by turning this on and off, earlier the skin was having some green tone or the green hue, and now it is perfectly red tone or the actual skin color. Okay, and let me zoom out how it looks. You can see now this one is looking much better. And now let's fix this underarms. So over here you can see this one is not looking that good, so I'll create a new blank layer, and this time I'll choose the clone stamp tool. So you can choose that by pressing S on your keyboard, and make sure the opacity is 30%, and will Alt and Option and click on this area to sample that area, and then we'll paint over it. Slowly we are going to build this effect, or we're going to remove those highlights. So let me select the normal soft round brush for this one, and opacity is 30%. Okay, and this area as well. So basically you have to take these sample. Just a minute. Sometimes if you do something wrong, just press the Control Z, Command Z, or Control Alt Z to undo that. Okay, so this one is looking much better than the previous one. Let me see. Earlier it was looking like this, and now this one is looking like this. And we can even select the brush tool, soft as brush, again with 10% opacity, or if you're using the graphic pen tablet, you can choose the pressure opacity brush and take the sample by pressing Alt or Option on the from the nearby area and paint on that area. So that way we can just take care of underarm problem. Okay, so you can see by turning this on and off, this one is looking much better. And then move on to this side, and here let's use the brush tool only. Press Alt or Option, take the sample from this area and paint on this side. Make sure the opacity is around 10% if you are using the mouse, otherwise you will not get the good result. Right, so now you can see earlier it was looking like this, and now it's looking like this. So press Ctrl 0 to see the result, and let's create one more blank layer on the top of it. And there is a problem over here because there is too much sharpness over here. So what we'll do, we'll again choose the softest brush and sample this area from this and paint over this area. So it's going to make this area little lighter and fix that problem. Okay, and we can just paint over this area as well, and on this side. So make sure you are painting with the low opacity around 10%, and we need to build this effect, and we need to continuously take the sample from different areas and mix and match everything so that it looks good. You can make the size of the brush larger as well if you want. And this area, later on we are going to darken it with the help of dosing and burning. You can make the size of the brush smaller and keep on painting. So basically we are just even outing the transition between different colors, so that way the skin would look better. And over here under the eyes, so we can do this. So we can see the difference by turning this on and off, and thereafter we'll lower down its opacity little bit, around 83 or 84%, so that it looks good. And paint on this side. Alright, so now this one looks like this. And save, edit, purge, and purge all the memories. And there is a problem little bit on this side, so let's fix that as well. So there are so many smaller things which you need to take care of, and this process actually takes lots of time. And on this side, let's mix this one. Okay, and let's create one more blank layer, and now we are going to take care of eyes. So we'll zoom in and choose the spot healing brush tool, and make sure the sample all layers is selected this time, and just paint over those eye veins. And on this side as well. Right, so now let's work on the lips. So we are going to add some redness to the lips. So for that purpose, we'll again create a new blank layer, change this layer blend mode to soft light, and choose the red color, and choose the brush tool, soft as brush, and we'll paint on the lips. Something like this. So you have to just change the layer blend mode to soft light and then paint with the lower opacity around 10%, and then keep on building the effect. That would give you the more or the better result. And at this time you can see that lips are looking little boring because they don't have the highlight. Right, so we are going to add the highlight. So let's try to add the highlight. Create a new blank layer and choose the brush tool, soft as brush, and this time white color, and make sure you have the 10% opacity, and change the layer blend mode to screen, and let's paint some highlights like this on the top as well. Okay, and then we'll go to the filter, blur, and choose the Gaussian blur, and we are going to blur this out so that it doesn't look that bad. That way it is going to mix it with it. So you can see before, and this is after. So we have added a little bit of highlights, and if you want to erase from somewhere, press E on your keyboard, and that would select the eraser tool, and then you can just brush it out. Okay, so let me show you how far we have come. So we have started from this and we have come so far to this, and now we can just do the skin retouching, or sorry, dose and burn to this, and that would enhance it even further. So let me purge my memories little bit and save it. I hope everyone can hear me. So let's start with the dosing and burning. So basically we are going to use two dose and burn layers, or two curves adjustment layers, or what you can do, you can just download my dose and burn Photoshop action absolutely free from my blog harshvardhanart.com, and you will find the link of that in the description. If you are using watching me on Instagram, then you can find that link to my shop in or my blog uh, in my bio, and if you're watching this on YouTube, you will find the link in the description. Okay, and thereafter what you have to do, just click on the hamburger menu, go to the Windows, and then select action, and then in the action click on this menu option and select the load action, and then browse for dose and burn action Harshvardhan. Click on this and select load, and that way that action would be available over here on the bottom. Click on that folder and you will see this dose and burn Harshvardhan. Click on the play button, and that's going to create the dose and burn group for us, and it's going to make it black and white. And black and white basically makes us easier to find out the difference between light and dark, because sometimes some people may not be able to see where the darker area is and where is the lighter area. So that's why it's the black layer. So if you want to turn this off and you want to work with this one, you can go with that one. So first we'll go for the dose one. So this is the top one, is the dose, and again we'll choose the softest brush with 20% or 10% opacity or 8%, whatever low opacity you can go with, and I'm using the soft round pressure opacity brush because I'm using the graphic pen tablet. And if you want to change the default color to the white color, foreground color, because we are having the black mask, so we need to paint with the white over this area. Okay, so we are going to paint wherever you see the light or whichever is the lighter area. So you have to use the lower opacity to get the better result, and that's going to take a little while. So you have to work on different areas. So basically we are painting on the area which is lighter or which has the highlights. And you can change the size of the brush with the left bracket and the right bracket. Keep on painting. Make sure you are using the low opacity to get the better result. Okay, and you can see by turning this on and off, yes, you can see it has added a lots of interest to the image. And now we are going to work on the burn, and we are going to burn the darker areas. So again, with the soft as brush with 20% opacity, we are going to paint on the darker areas. You can paint on the eyebrows, under the eyes, on this makeup, on the hairs as well, in the ears, around the ears. So basically wherever you see the shadows, just paint over that to highlight that darkness or the shadows. So that is basically going to shape out the model or the body or the face. You can work on the hands as well. So you can see now turning this on and off. So this is before, and this is before, and this is after we have just applied the dosing and burning. Okay, and thereafter if you want to work on certain area, zoom in to that and then you can work on that area. And if you commit some mistake, press X, or that would turn the color to default color, that is black, and then press X again and start painting on that area. Oops. And you can press Ctrl Z to undo as well. And let's paint little bit inside these eyes. So we are going to brighten them up little bit. Okay, so let's turn this off and on. So this is what dosing and burning can do to your image. It has shaped out the model's face. And now let's add little bit of redness to the face. So we'll create a new blank layer, change this layer blend mode to, let's say, soft light, and choose the red color. Choose the softest brush with 10% opacity, and add redness on this side, and this side, and on the chin and on the nose. And at the moment it's looking too much, but don't worry, we are going to fix this bit on the ears as well. Alright, and then we'll change or lower down its opacity until we are happy with the result. Before, and this is after we have added redness. And you can choose the eraser tool to erase it out if you have accidentally spilled it out outside the area. And let's paint a little bit on the forehead as well. Okay, you can see we have added little bit of redness on both the sides, and little bit, let's add little bit on the upper eyes and over here. I'll take a break a little. Alright, so now you can see this far we have come with this image, and now I'm going to further color grade this image. So for that purpose, what we'll do, we'll create a new selective colors adjustment layer, and then we'll select the green color, and let's change the green color to something else using these sliders. Let's see if we can do this, and then change it to the black, and in the black we can add more of the green, something like this. And magenta, if you want to add the magenta. And yellow, or take away the yellow, something like this. And let's add it little bit blackness. So we can see by turning this on and off, this one is looking much better to me. And let's go for the neutral, and let's try to add the cyan or take away the cyan, and let's add little bit of magenta and take away the yellow and make it little darker, something like this. And let's create a new exposure adjustment layer and increase the gamma correction to something like this, and increase the exposure little bit. So you can see this is before and this is after. We have added a little bit of brightness, and let's create one curves adjustment and increase its brightness to something like this, and press Ctrl I, Command I to invert it. Choose the brush tool, soft as brush with the white color, and paint on the model so that her face becomes brighter and rest of the area become darker. and now create one more curves adjustment, and this time click and drag it down, something like this, and click and drag the bottom part up. So this is basically going to fade this image. Okay, and now we'll choose the brush tool and black color, and we are going to remove it from the model, so that way rest of the image would be darker. So that's basically going to create a vignette effect to the image. And go to the filter, blur and Gaussian blur. So this is going to even it out even further, so you can see by turning this on and off. So now the more focus is on the model, and if you want you can work even further on this. So I hope this one is just fine. So now finally we are going to sharpen the image. So we'll press Ctrl Alt Shift E or Command Option Shift E to merge it, create a merge copy, and then change its layer blend mode to linear light. Go to the filter, other, and choose high pass, and then choose the radius of 1.2 and press OK, and that's going to sharpen the entire image. So you can see by turning this on and off that it has sharpened the image. And if you want to apply the sharpening only to certain part of the image, then you can press Alt or Option and click on the mask icon. So that basically going to create a black mask, and then let me just drag it over here. Then with the white brush, let me select the soft edge brush, and with 50% opacity or 100% opacity, just paint over the eyes, hairs, and the lips, on the ears, on the jewelry, because that has to be sharper, and rest of the image can be blurry, so that the main focus remains on the model. Okay, and if you want more of this effect, just press Ctrl G Command J to have a duplicate copy of it, and that's going to add even more sharpness to the image. So now we'll select all the layers, press Ctrl G, group them together, and let me show you the final result. Full screen. Oops. So this is full screen. This is our final result, and this is the before image. We have started from this image, and we have finally achieved this result. So if you want, you can even work on this image even further to work on little details, so you can spend a little bit more time on this and you can get even better result. So thank you so much. This was it. This was high-end skin retouching. It takes a little bit time, but the effort are worth putting out, and you will get the better result. So this beautiful image once again shot by the Jaspreet Ratan Studio, New Delhi, India. And if you want to check out his work, link, I'll put the link of that in the description once this live session would be over. Okay, and once again, if you like this video, please consider sharing it. If you have not subscribed to this channel, or if you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing and press the bell icon so that you don't miss when I go live and upload a new video. And if you want to learn more about photo editing, check out my YouTube channel or follow me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is @Harshvardhanart, and you can go to my blog harshvardhanart.com, and there is lots of free Photoshop action presets